Well, I want to welcome today's guest, Shelley. I'm going to be meeting only, so just for your privacy. And again, as you have heard last time, is that our company launched our grocery assistance program just a week ago, and I was really excited when we first started receiving application. And one of your stories that when you came to our application, I just thought that was pretty amazing because it's not just you. You know, it's more than just you. It's more. I mean, it includes your family, your son, and also your granddaughter. Again, the purpose of this whole program really stemmed from seeing how small business loans were exhausted so fast within a few days. And even though there's a lot of federal program, it doesn't mean that people are not struggling because of the shelter in place. We understand that we need to do shelter in place just so that we can slow the spread. But there is some impact to some of the people in the community. And we hope that through this grocery assistance program, at least we can help with the food situation so that you guys can feel a little bit less stressful in terms of looking to purchase grocery at the supermarket. Now, I want to turn this to Shelley and also start asking you. First question is that, do you mind to share with me a little bit why you have started to apply for this grocery assistance?
Sure. Um, this is my first time actually seeking help in any which way. I kind of hemmed and hawed, as I mentioned to you, about applying because I know there is so much desperation out there. And then I thought, I'm actually one of those people, and never thought I'd actually find myself in this position. Sorry if I get a little bit emotional.
Oh, of course. No, it's okay. It's okay. And again, I want to make sure I want you to feel free to share your story because it is difficult right now and there's so many people are struggling. So I so appreciate you take the chance to help people to say like, hey, you know what, we're all on the same boat here.
Yes. I'll give you just a small backstory. My family, we're all very hardworking. We've never sought out any assistance, but I actually had to go on disability a few years back for a medical reason, and it was very difficult to do that as well. Lost my home, living in an apartment now. I do have a son who has always worked hard, and he has come up kind of on the same thing as I have. A few months ago, he was diagnosed with diabetes 2 and ended a very long relationship, which he has a daughter. And, we were all living together, and then he had to move out. And it's been a struggle since then. Once he had a diagnosis with diabetes 2, that really put his headspace in a very bad place. He had to stop working for a little bit because a simple hangnail that became infected turned into him getting blood poison, almost losing his finger and possibly even more. So diabetes 2 is no joke.
Yeah.
And since then, I've had to take over his care and just almost regressing to a child, taking care of him and doing all his errands and cooking for him, and also taking care of his daughter. Once this coronavirus thing hit, and having to homeschool his daughter as well, it was just adding to it. And then him not being able to work, not being able to meet his financial obligations, it just, everything kept piling on. And to the point where he is now suffering major depression. And the only thing that makes him happy is his daughter, where he will hide his loneliness, his state of health. I mean, everything. And so having her being able to go over there and stay with him has been hard too, because just financially we can't, meet certain obligations to take care of her when he's with her. So I just take her over there and we spend time. So it's been hard, and even me going to the grocery store being disabled, he can't help me. So she is 9 years old and she is a tremendous help. I mean, we try to hide as much as we can from her, but kids are smart. Yeah. And, she knows that it's gotten a lot rougher since this virus thing. But we're, we pray, we're Catholic, and we turn to God, and we know that every month we'll get by somehow.
Yeah, and I cannot tell you enough because like even other applicants would talk about it's always about the parents trying to hide that from their children or your in your case even your grandchild, right? From this stress that you guys are going through, and what your son is doing is the same thing. He's trying to hide it. And funny thing is, like children, they need us, but at the same time, they are the one who give us the power to be more positive somehow and to be strong. We never even thought that we can be that strong until somehow they came to our lives. So um, I also want to ask you one question. Is that I obviously you said that you're on disability. So do you have any other income?
No. I mean, I do have retirement, but I
Mm,
obviously will not tap into that.
mm.
I live very meagerly and very carefully, and I am able to get by. But now, him not working, it just puts another strain on it. I mean, it just we're making it barely. I mean, it's by the skin of our teeth, but and that's hard in itself because normally he'd go out and he'd be able to find other work, but you can't. He can't because he has this fine condition now, and he cannot be out there.
Right. Okay. So and I know that you said you're renting, you lost your home. Do you mind to tell us a little story about what happened to your home?
Oh, sure. Um, I was laid off in the height of the recession of 2008. I was with my company almost 25 years, super loyal. I thought I'd be with them to 40 or 50 years till I retired. And they basically laid off the top, I want to say top quarter per 25% that were higher wage earners.
Mm.
And I was an HR manager. Um, I was probably left in a fetal position for weeks after that. I actually did not even tell my family for a whole year
Oh,
because I had plenty of money to be okay for actually almost 5 years. And I ended up putting on about 200 pounds and hurt my back and had to apply for disability. And wow, it was I never saw myself, that happening. And now to see what's going on with my son, almost the same thing, but different circumstances, it's, I just, deja vu.
oh my gosh. I'm so sorry. And I mean, we all went through the 2008 mortgage crisis, obviously, and that was really hard. So many people lost their homes, and a lot of people went into depression. It's feels like it's happening again. It's just in a different context, right? Not
Exactly.
because of mortgage crisis, but it's because of this coronavirus. And in a way, we feel so out of control, but we just have to, accept the fact that this is what's going on. So how's your granddaughter doing right now?
She kind of lives on a roller coaster. I mean, we try to keep it up as much as we can, but the stress there's a threshold. And when you get to that threshold, sometimes you might do or say something that, you have to go back and apologize for, and that maybe would not happen under normal circumstances. And that in itself is really hard to deal with.
I'm so sorry. You know, I share this on my art interview is that when I was very young, my family went from doing well to all the way down where my parents had to go to other country to find jobs. It was we were left alone in our own little apartment, and that's back in Hong Kong. And during that time, it was really tough. It was very lonely, but at the same time, now that I look back, it was such a great experience for me. And I kept saying that sometimes our children are way too blessed. And for your granddaughter to be able to see what's going on, see that there is impact to my family. When she grows up, she's going to be such a strong lady. She will be doing amazing things.
I do agree. Children are so resilient, and I think that they can take things sometimes better than adults.
Yeah.
And we don't consider that, even at their very young age, because they accept things as they are sometimes, and they're able to um, be okay with how things are, because all they want to do is be happy, have fun, play. So I mean, it's like children of cancer. They often do better than adults because we think about our mortality, and they just live for the next day to play. So yeah, in that way, I do see your point.
Yeah. Yeah, and of course, you as a parent, as a mother, and also a grandmother, I can't imagine the stress you must have and the pressure you have. I mean, my parents until today, they would still say like, "Oh, I feel so bad. You guys had to go through that," and they will constantly blame themselves for the failure, but then it's really to me, I was like, "Oh my god, that's not a failure at all. That's like an amazing experience you have given us." I think that what your granddaughters want to see is that you will stay strong, and no matter what, you will not give up. And I think same go to her father, your son. Hopefully, he can get out of this depression and really. I mean, it's easy said than done, really. And depression is not easy to cure either. Is there anything medically that he is going through to help with his depression right now?
He has started to see a therapist and they do online calls. He is now taking a medication that is not only helping with his anxiety and depression, but he also has peripheral neuropathy, which is a symptom of diabetes too, where you feel like your feet are you're walking on pins and needles, almost like when your foot's asleep, but sharper
Yeah,
pain.
yeah,
So that coupled with everything, I mean, it's just everything else. It is helping since
okay,
he started this new medication. It takes off the edge, but it doesn't completely go away.
yeah,
So we're doing everything to get him the help and encouraging him to stick with it, because there's times when he hits so low that he won't even open the door. And those are the really rough times, because then we have to pull out our ace, which is his daughter. And
oh,
we do that very carefully because we have to think about her as well. um, so it's like, to save him, sometimes we have to use her, and that's been twice now.
mm.
Uh, it's yeah. I mean, I really did think we were going to lose him. I mean, I prayed and prayed and prayed, and thank God, he's here. But
And
and I
and
think
he
we're
needs
up to
a, and he probably needs a job sometimes to feel better, right? That's what's crazy about this whole thing is that sometimes when we don't have our job, when we don't have work, we lose ourselves. We don't know who we are anymore, and it's not just financially; it's really emotionally that's affecting us as well.
Yes. I mean, I don't think people thought about, others who stay home and how lucky they have it because they don't have to work, and how great it is now that you could be with your families. It is. And part of that, there are some good parts, you have to look to the positive. But for those who are either by themselves or um, are unable to work and cannot leave because of an underlying condition, I mean, they're basically in prison.
Yeah,
And they have nobody. I mean, we can call them, we can Skype with them, we can visit them. But even myself, I am super careful. Sometimes not even going inside, because I don't want to expose him if I've been exposed by either going to the grocery store or something. Um, to be very careful, and that's hard too, because you just want to stay there. I want to stay there all day. I want to stay there all night. I want to keep him company, but I can't.
yeah, yeah. You're right, and I know there are so many people who want to just open up the economy right now, but like what you're saying, there are so many people with the underlying health condition that they're really high risk and we have to protect them. It is a little sacrifice that we have to make. Obviously, there are a lot of big impacts to people, livelihood. I don't know. I mean, sometimes you just have to think what is more important. Is it somebody's lives or is it somebody's financial situation? And
Yeah,
that's
they're
probably
medical.
one of the reasons why I kept thinking what we can do to help, and I just like there's nothing more than the roof over our heads and also food. So maybe we can just help out a little bit on the groceries purchase. If you guys, I don't know how much you spend. I don't really know what is the right amount, but I was like, okay, maybe hopefully this $350 grocery gift card could help a little bit for you and your family.
Absolutely. That you think that it's such a small gift, but in reality, one, it's not just the actual money or getting to go to the grocery store. It's the gesture. It's people who you find stories. I mean, I'm trying to find stories now of hope, of the good things, the good deeds that people are doing, calling the elderly who are shut-ins, simple things that we can all do. My parents are in their 70s, super healthy. They live outside of Sacramento, but they are going stir crazy. And they're running out of things running out of windows to clean. And, they're trying to find things to occupy their time. And they also are at high risk because of their age, even though they're very healthy. So they are having things delivered to them, and they're not going out, but and they're super active. So now they're inside, and it has tested their mental state as well.
Yeah, I agree with you. And it's so I have family in Hong Kong still, and also in Indonesia. And this is not just a US thing, it's worldwide, global. I've been watching, actually my sister in Hong Kong's been staying indoor since last year. Started from the protest over there, and then to the coronavirus started in January, and they are still staying indoor most of the time. So there are a lot of people globally really doing a lot of sacrificing just to make sure that everyone else is staying safe. And I mean, what you're doing for your family is so, so admirable and heroic, really. You are still risking yourself, really, to go to grocery store and also watching your granddaughter. So I just cannot say thank you enough for everything you're doing for your family. Is there anything else you would like to share with us?
I just want to say that you are doing a very noble thing, and we do appreciate it. And the fact that, yes, we know that and you having family where you do right now and being so far away, that's an impact in itself, that, we can't reach out and physically touch the loved ones I think what has put me kind of in a funk and what I've had to get away from, especially watching TV during this time, are the stories where people are about to leave this earth and they can't have one family member with them. I mean, I don't understand it, because if a nurse can be in there, you can gown up a family member, and if they're willing to take the risk to go in there and hold someone's hand, their loved one, not just a stranger. I think that in America has got to be the worst thing that I have ever seen, to die not being surrounded by your family, or at least one person. They've got to change that.
I agree. That part has been in my mind a lot too. It's like watching these news. Every time I watch it, I just start crying. I'm a pretty emotional person. And the worst part is, like, even after they pass, you can't even have a proper funeral. And that's just like, I mean, I just cannot even imagine right now to say, like, I don't care. I'm just gonna go out to enjoy my life, because I'm thinking all those people who can't, just like what you said, can't even have their family member right next to them when they're leaving them. It's just horrible.
Yes, I can't say enough about it. So I've had to stop watching all of those kinds of stories and look for some silver linings, because otherwise, yeah, we're all going to go mad.
Yes.
Yeah, and we've all got to hang on. We've got to be there for the next generation. And I do wonder what it's going to be like for the very little ones. Like I mentioned about I was at the store and I smiled at a baby, which everybody does. And how many smiles that baby's missing, because when they're out and about, all they see are these faceless people. They just see these eyes and they don't smile. I mean, I'm smiling and I couldn't figure out why she wasn't smiling. And I realized I have a mask on. She can't see my smile. And how's that going to impact her in 10 years,
It is so true. It's so true, because I am an adult. I feel the same way. I went to the market. I said the same thing. I was like, oh my gosh, it seems like nobody is smiling. And
Yeah,
but then really, you never know. So
don't know.
you just don't know. But I think this is a time where, as a community, we really need to help each other out, support each other. I'm grateful for the fact that I can actually connect now. I tell my husband all the time, I was like, I always want to do something to connect with the community, but my job is always pretty busy. And in a way, I'm an introvert. I'm a bit shy when I have to reach out. So I feel like this is actually a perfect medium for me to do. So I really, really appreciate you, sharing your story with us. And if there's anything else that we can do for you or for more people that you know that need help, please do let us know and share the application with them.
I
I
will.
mentioned to you is that if I cannot help all of them, it's fine. I have a very vast network. I will ask around to see anyone else would like to chip in as well.
Wow, that's fantastic. Very much appreciated. God bless you and your family, and congratulations on your success. You've done very well for yourself.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Shelley. I really, really, really appreciate you coming on here and sharing your story. And like I said, I will be dropping off the gift card later on. And I hope your son will get better and also your granddaughter. Uh, I just want her to be happy all the time.
We are working on it. She will be. They're resilient. They will survive this, and they will have stories to tell their grandchildren.
Exactly. Exactly.
Take
Good job,
care.
Shelley.
Thank you.
All right. I will talk to you later. Stay in touch.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you.